For today's vlog, we're going to go a little bit off the beaten path with some things the Lord just kind of hit me with this morning by way of a picture illustration. I pray that it will encourage you as it has me. The end of my coursework for my MDiv, and during one of my last classes for that degree, we're reading through the life of Charles Spurgeon, about his ministry, his methodology, and how he approached ministry and life just generally, and how his understanding of God influenced really everything that he did, particularly as it comes to the gospel. And this morning, as I was working out, I was listening to this portion of the book. It's the final chapter of it. And the author was noting these words from Spurgeon, taken from a message that he had preached on Matthew 9:36 through 38. And he made these remarks. He says, "I do not believe, my brethren, that at any time the world has had a dull ear to the gospel. He bids us know that though God could reap his harvest without men, he will not do it." And that in and of itself has puzzled me. Out of all the means that God could use to advance the gospel of Jesus Christ, why use men, right? Why use us who often are overcome with fear, who sometimes have just spiritual indifference, and we're only concerned about ourselves and not necessarily others. Those that just have not captured even the reality of the spiritual or the eternal destiny of those around us. He continues, though. He poses the question, could he not bring forth a spiritual reaping machine? Modern invention has done this for the farmer. And the same idea could be carried out into spiritual things, and so thousands would be converted in an hour without human agency. Growing up on a farm, I think to those pictures of the combines going through the fields. I love to do that each fall as I have opportunity to go back and help my own dad. It's and you walk over or you see what you get accomplished in a day. God, wouldn't it be so much easier to just have something like that instead? He continues to write, though. But the Lord asks for no such inventions. He does not direct us to ask for spiritual reaping machines, but to pray the Master to send laborers into the harvest field. It is to be life on life. This is God's way to fulfill the Great Commission through great commandment living, lives changed by grace, influencing lives by the same grace. And that's the line that stuck out to me. Lives changed by grace, influencing lives by that same grace, and life on life. So God has chosen us, those who have already been influenced by the magnificence and all that the gospel encompasses, to go forth and communicate those same things to those around us. And it's interesting in that, just as you think on that for a moment, in the respect that we're the ones who've experienced it, and oftentimes you trust, consider the testimony of those who have experienced something to be most valid. And so he's using us, those who have experienced the blessing of the gospel, who've experienced that saving power of Christ, to be the avenues through which that message is continuing to be communicated. And as I remember it quite vividly this morning. I was laying on the bench this morning, getting ready to lift some weights, and the Lord just smacked me upside the head with this illustration, this thought. All of us, we go to the doctors. Sometimes for some of us, it's more frequent than others. But consider the doctor for just a moment. The doctor has spent numerous years. I actually thought about being one at one point in time, and once I thought about all the schooling, I'm not doing that. They spend, I don't know, 10, 11 years or something like that between their initial schooling, then their doctorate school, then their residency program, and various things. So it's a long period of time that they spend absorbing a lot of information as well as learning how to practice medicine. Why do they do that? And this is what the Lord hit me with. Do they do that? Do they experience all of those things simply so that they can self-diagnose and so they can benefit themselves? No, right? The doctor studies, he goes to school so that he might help others, so that he might use the experiences and the knowledge that he has gained to help change the lives of others, to help heal, bring healing to others' lives. And that's the same considerations for us as we think about the gospel. We have this amazing message. Do we reserve it for ourselves in self-diagnosis? What profit is that? Or are we purposefully going out this amazing thing that we possess and bringing it to the lives of others that they might themselves experience healing? Not only the relational healing between them and God, right? That needs to be done. That is the pathway to heaven. We talked about that this week. There's only one avenue to redemption. That's through Jesus. But as they follow through in that, come to faith in Christ and begin to walk and follow after Christ, we find that it brings relational healing in a horizontal level as well within their families, within societies. We find people living as they are meant to live according to the ways of God. That was what we were designed for, to walk and follow in his ways. And so just the challenge today, it's life upon life. Those who've experienced grace, testifying about that grace to those around us. And what will we do? Will we hold that message to ourselves? Or will we be like the doctor, right? Who has this knowledge, who has this experience, right? Who has this amazing testimony of how the grace of God has changed us. Will we take that and communicate that it might bring healing to those around us? We all have individuals in our lives who have not professed faith in Christ, whose eternal destiny is in question. Today is the day to have those kinds of conversations, this week, this month. Please do that. And I'll be praying that the Lord would guide you as you speak. We already know Matthew 28, 19 and 20, that he will be with you. We see that. He's promised that.